What's up, Timmy's here. Now, with Robin Wright's new series titled The Girlfriend premiering this week, I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite Robin Wright film and TV projects. Now, I only have one TV show on this list, and the rest are movies. But hey, Robin Wright's always incredible. Obviously she's been, in the business since the 80s. She's still going strong to this day. Like, who doesn't love Robin Wright? Obviously, she was married to Sean Penn at one point, and all. She's always incredible. So here is my official top 10 list. Alright, number 10 is a movie that was one of the first few films I was lucky enough to see in theaters when the pandemic, when movie theaters reopened and stuff. Number 10 is Land. Land also was directed by Robin Wright. I think this was her directorial, if I'm not mistaken. But here, of course, you got Edie Holster, who moves to a remote cabin in Wyoming to live in solitude, struggling with basic survival until a bear destroys her supplies. And local hunter Miguel, played by Damon Machère, and his nurse friend rescue her over time. It is a really decent film. Robin Wright, I think she could easily got an Oscar nomination for this. She didn't really get Holly. Maybe because, theaters reopened and stuff like that. Reopened. And so she didn't really get as much, Oscar buzz as you expect. But still, Robin Wright was great in this. Really, a really nice performance. Damon Machère, Kim Dickens was great in this. It is a really decent film about survival, about human connections, and it's a really good one. All right, number 9 is Blade Runner 2049. Now here, of course, you got Robin Wright, who plays Lieutenant Joshi K, superior at the LA police department, who orders him to retire to the repellent charge to prevent a social upheaval. Of course, this was the long-awaited follow-up to the original Blade Runner, starring Harrison Ford, Ryan Gosling. It, of course, takes place in 2049 LA, where K is a Nexus 9 recipient, and Blade Runner discovers a box containing the remains of a female recipient, relevant. Of course, you got Ana de Armas, Dave Bautista. Blade Runner 2049 is maybe not as good as the original, but of course, really put Denis Villeneuve on the sci-fi map. Obviously, we will get him for the Dune movies. But yeah, Blade Runner 2049. The effects is really great. Robin Wright is terrific in this. It is a really decent follow-up. Shame probably no one went to go see it, but anyway. Number 8 is the only TV show on this list, and that is House of Cards. Now, of course, it follows Frank Underwood, played by Kevin Spacey, who is a cunning Democratic congressman from South Carolina, who is passed over as Secretary of State and schemes to gain power with the help of his ambitious wife, Claire. And obviously, because of the whole Kevin Spacey stuff, and he gained fired from it, she actually later pretty much becomes the 47th president of the United States. And she is really great in this. Despite the stuff between Kevin Spacey and whatever, he's okay in this and all. But Robin Wright, of course, she actually did score a couple of Emmy nominations. I think she actually won 2, if I'm not mistaken. She really plays her part very well. Really plays the president role perfectly. Obviously, she of course, she becomes vice president at one point, and then obviously finally becomes president because Kevin Spacey, obviously. But yeah, she is still really great in this. Really plays her part well. Her chemistry with Kevin Spacey is pretty decent. A really decent series. Of course, the show ran from 2013 to 2018, and a really decent political show worth giving a go. Alright. Number 7 is Wonder Woman. Now, here, of course, you got Robin Wright, who plays Antelope, who is, of course, Antope, who is the sister of Hippolyta, the general of the Amazonian armies here. And Robin Wright, of course, making her DC debut here was really great. She really was fierce as a character. Really plays the part well. Of course, that original Wonder Woman is excellent all around. Robin Wright, of course, was great. Of course, Obviously Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, Patty Jenkins directed it. She did a good job. A really decent DC film. All right. Number six is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Of course, a remake of the Swedish film, of course, based on the book as well. Here you got Robin Wright, who plays Erica Berger, who is a business partner and editor in chief of the Millennium magazine. Here, of course, you got Daniel Craig, Rooney Mara. You know, now Rooney Mara, of course, plays the role of Elizabeth Sanders, who is, of course, recovering from what. Now, of course, here you got Daniel Craig, who plays Mikhail Blumkis, who's recovering from like a libel suit, and he is hired by a wealthy Hannah Wenger to investigate the 40-year-old disappearance of his grandniece. And so, of course, he recruits, computer hacker Elizabeth Sanders, played by Rooney Mara, and their investigation uncovers a serial killer here. Uh, and Christopher Plummer is also great in this. Robin Wright plays the part very well. Lots of crazy twists and turns around. It is a really decent one. So a shame we never really got to see it. Like, other than that terrible Spiderweb one, it's a shame we never got to see a sequel with Rooney Mara and Daniel Craig, but it is what it is, I guess. Alright. Coming in at number 5 is State of Grace. Now, of course, here Robin Wright starred with her. I think they were actually married at the time. Her then husband or boyfriend, whatever, Sean Penn. This is, of course, directed by Phil Janu, and it stars Sean Penn, who plays an undercover cop who returns to Hell's Kitchen and reconnects with his childhood friend Jackie Flannery, who is part of an Irish crime organization led by his brother Frank. Now here, of course, you got Robin Wright, who plays Kathleen, who is Jackie's who is of course Jackie's sister, with whom Terry rekindles a romantic relationship here. And obviously, Sean Penn and Robin Wright was linked together, and obviously they were married because that obviously when they were married, Robin Wright was Robin Wright Penn. So yeah, but they were obviously really had good chemistry on and off screen, I guess. Ed Harris is great in this. Gary Oldman. It is a really decent film worth watching there. All right, number 4 is The Private Lives of Pitbull Lee. Of course, directed by Rebecca Miller, who I believe is actually married to Daniel Day-Lewis. So there's that. Here, of course, you got Alan Arkin, Maria Bello, Keanu Reeves. Now, the film, of course, follows Pitbull Lee, who reflects on her past from her childhood, from a troubled childhood with with a neurotic mother to becoming youth involving drugs and exotic dancing. Here, of course, you got Robin Wright, who plays the woman reflecting on her past here. Maria Bell's great in this. It is a really decent little indie film worth giving a go there. Alright. Number 3 is Unbreakable. Of course, directed by, M. Night Shyamalan, starring Bruce Willis, Sam Jackson. Here, of course, you got Robin Wright, who plays Bruce Willis's David, who of course plays Bruce Willis's David Dungeon's wife, who supports him through his personal and supernatural challenges. And her chemistry with Bruce Willis is really decent. Really one of the highlights of the film here. Of course, M. Night Shyamalan does a great job with this. Sam Jackson. I mean, it's definitely one of the best superhero films not based on comic books, in my opinion. All right. Number 2 is, of course, The Princess Bride. Now, here, of course, you got a where Pierre Fox's grandfather character reads to a story to his sick grandson about Buttercup, played by Robin Wright, who's a farm girl who of course gets proposed to a Prince Hempernach, who is kidnapped before the wedding here. And Robin Wright, this is actually a movie that I guess you really say put Robin Wright on the map for most people. She was really great here. Of course, Carrie Elvis was terrific. Obviously, Maddie Patinkin, Andre the Giant. The chemistry between Robin Wright and Carrie Elvis is great. It is a really heartfelt, one of the best swashbuckling romance films of that decade. Alright, and my number 1 favorite Robin Wright project of all time is none other, probably her most hated character, by the way. and that is Forrest Gump. I mean, Forrest Gump is great. Of course, obviously you got Tom Hanks who plays a man who's of course is IQ is below average, and recounts his story from at a bus stop, detailing his experiences from childhood in Alabama and stuff. I mean, of course, Forrest Gump, obviously, Robin Wright, of course, plays the role of Jenny, and well, let's be real, her character is they're they're obviously may actually be like her love interest and stuff. But yeah, the Jenny character was never the best. I mean, why? I still never understood why Forrest ever just never tried to get with someone else instead of Jenny. But hey, Robin Wright still plays the part very well. Her chemistry with Tom Hanks' Forrest is great. I mean, it is still a great role of hers. And Forrest Gump was one of the best movies of that year. Let's be real there too. But that's pretty much it there. Here is my quick rundown. Number 10, Land. 9, Blade Runner 2049. 8, House of Cards. 7, Wonder Woman. 6, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. 5, State of Grace. 4, The Private Lives of Pippa Lee. 3, Unbreakable. 2, Princess Bride. Number 1 is Forrest Gump. And there's loads of other ones I probably could have added too. Moneyball. Everest she was in. The Conspirator, Hound Dog, The Pledge, Message in a Bottle, many others. Let me let you guys. What are some of your favorite Robin Wright film or TV projects? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Simbu signing out.